Hello everybody, this is ManuS and welcome back to yet another Legends of Runeterra spoiler review. They're coming in fast. I'm trying to catch up. I'm a bit behind right now, I know, so I'll try to catch you up ASAP. Sorry for the delay. Things are a bit tricky to keep up with all of this stuff going on in real life and so on. When you're not doing this full time and have editors and stuff like that do a lot of the work for you. Anyway, you know the drill. Before we dive into the spoiler reviews, please hit the subscribe button down below to not miss out on future content. There's still around 70% of you watching not yet subscribed, so please consider doing so to help the channel grow. And let me briefly introduce you to today's sponsors. Today's video is sponsored by NordVPN, one of the leading virtual private network providers out there. A virtual private network keeps your data secure and yourself anonymous while using the internet. NordVPN comes with super fast servers, allows you to unlock your favorite entertainment websites like Netflix. They provide a 30-day money-back guarantee. They also have an included cybersecurity suite, which acts as an ad blocker to boot. They don't lock any of your data, provide a 24/7 customer support, and you can use it on up to 6 simultaneous connections, so one account covers most or all of your electronic devices. And most importantly, they don't have any bandwidth limit, so you can use it non-stop without it getting throttled, which is particularly important for heavy users like us. It also won multiple awards and comes highly recommended by top technology experts. So if you're still surfing online without a VPN, now is the time to change that. Get NordVPN now, 70% off for a 3-year plan, including 1 month extra for free using the code ManuS or the personalized link in the description down below. And now on to today's content. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the first batch of Ionia spoilers. And they are pretty cool and pretty cute. The set is looking more and more fun and interesting as the spoilers come in, so that's pretty exciting. So first off, we have a new support card, which obviously is particularly relevant with Taric having been revealed. It's 2-cost, 1/1 elusive, Young Witch. As I mentioned, being 1 health is kind of problematic, but at least this one has evasion, so it at least doesn't get hurt by cards like Omen Hawk, the 1/1 from Deep, Aristocrat, like all these throwaway units that have utility and like a minimum body. So it only gets affected by the spells, so like Make It Rain, Vile Feast, Static Shock, and Withering Rail are like the 4 big ones in that case. But it's a 2-drop, so by the time they happen, this has done some work, and the support effect is actually really powerful. And the fact that it has elusive while being a support unit is also pretty big, so it can almost always support for free, which is sometimes the issue with something like War Chefs on certain boards where the opponent can punish you for supporting and getting a critical support. And this is arguably almost better than the War Chefs buff, since +1/+0 and quick attack usually gives you virtually infinite health against units that have as much health or less than the attack total of the unit you're supporting. And quick attack on especially challengers like, say, a Fleet Feather Tracker out of Demacia is super amazing and super powerful. So yeah, card looks really cool. A bit fragile, but I think the upside and the fact that it has elusive as a supporter make up for the fragility. So I think this is one of the fragile units that is well worth playing. And also a much better, like more reliable supporter than, say, the 3-drop out of Targon, although that obviously has a more powerful, more permanent support effect and gives you gems when it dies, so that makes up for that on that front in a way. But it's much more punishable and much less reliable. And being a 3-drop versus a 2-drop also matters in terms of how big the time window is for your opponent to punish it. Like, for example, if you play this on 2 with attack token, the opponent can't even Static Shock or Veil. So you get 1 good challenge attack potentially and kill an opponent's unit for free with your tracker, for example. So that sort of stuff also matters. Although tracker into Witch gets obliterated by Make It Rain on 2, so gotta be careful with that. But yeah, card's pretty cool and interesting. Almost certainly gonna see some constructed play. Next we have Flower Child. So this is a 1-cost 1/2, and when it's supported, grant me +2/+0. This is a permanent buff. Initially I thought it would be like this round, making it still a very solid like virtual 1 cost 3/2 with downside, like a conditional 1 cost 3/2, which is pretty good, honestly. But this one is amazing. Like, it gets it permanently, and every time you support it, so every time you get to attack with it, it grows. First time you attack with this, with the witch we just saw, this is a 4/2 quick attack. And the opponent can't really block this other than jump block this, and they can't block your support unit because it's an elusive. And then it snowballs from there. And even if not, like, then you have a 3/2 for 1, which is amazing. Like, this card seems insanely good. Like an Ionia, Demacia deck with Fleet Feather Tracker and this as a 1-drop, for example, is very imaginable. Or Targon decks with this and multiple support 2-drops, like the new +0/+2, turning this basically into like a 3/4 on the first attack. And the other one is a 2/2, so the opponent might be able to punish the attack of the support and stuff like that, but even then you're left with like a permanent 3/4 on turn 2, and your 2-drop also dealt 2 damage to the opponent. And a 3/4 on turn 2 is super good stats. We know how good a 3/4 on turn 3 is already, but on turn 2 that's even more brutal and makes offense and defense really tricky for the opponent this early on. So yeah, Flower Child, another amazing Ionia card. As we can see, they're going into a direction where the new Ionia cards don't play well with what Ionia is doing right now, like not the spell value sort of delay type thing, so nothing that fits into Ezreal Karma type stuff and these sort of decks, in general Karma synergies, and going more into like the sort of creature, Yordle, onboard type stuff, like support, synergistic, buffing type stuff, which is pretty cool, and it's like the kind of cute fairy tale side of Ionia that we get to see in this set. As some people on stream said, like, Ionia is going Disney. Sort of. So yeah, Flower Child also looking pretty good for Constructed, honestly. Next we have Fuzzy Caretaker. Another pretty solid support card. It's a 4-cost 3/3. When Fuzzy Caretaker is supported, he turns into a 3/6, and the unit he supports gets +3/+0 this round. So in this case, it's not a permanent buff, but still pretty good. Sorry about that, forgot to mute my browser. So yeah, Fuzzy Caretaker actually seems like a better support unit than Shen probably in the support heavier decks, if support is what matters and not the barriers, since this is basically like a 3/6 instead of a 3/5 in those decks usually. And the +3/+0 buff is probably often better than the barrier buff, but we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, also this doesn't take up a champion slot in a deck with multiple champions already, so that's also a plus, and it could be like the second 4-drop in addition to Taric in like a Targon Ionia deck, for example. So yeah, pretty solid looking guy. Could certainly show up in Constructed, but it's hard to say. Depends on what the decks look like and the competition. Certainly has the power level to be a consideration, but could end up falling short, I think. But overall, pretty solid card. Basically sort of like 4-cost 6/6 in stats at various conditions and distributions, but all in all still a pretty solid package. And once again, on quick attack or elusive, like for example this buffing the witch, hitting for 4, then something else buffing this. Like, you have this, the witch, and another support unit, and then you have like the crazy support bonanza going on. Basically, also the fact that the +0/+3 is given each round, that sort of makes it better than a 3/5 on offense in that regard, because the first 3 damage it takes every turn are irrelevant. So if the opponent deals 4 damage to it, you're left with a 3/2, and next time you attack, it's still a 3/5 again instead of a 3/2. Unlike Shen, for example, that would be a 3/2 or even a 3/1 because it took 4 damage. So that's pretty big. The fact that this is like a recurring thing makes this really good on offense, but obviously worse on defense, because on defense it's a 3/3. So if you don't have an attack token, this is a pretty weak turn 4 play. Next we have Tasty Fey Folk. Nothing too special here, but 3-cost 4/2 lifesteal, pretty solid, great defensive unit. In a way better than Emerald Awakener for decks that would want Emerald Awakener, because it gives you the lifesteal early on when you need it the most, and In return, you lose out on the super 6/6 lifesteal threat later in the game, but in a lot of cases that's fine. Like some of the sort of spooky karma decks that played Awakener might want this over it because it trades better on defense and it also heals more. Also, this plays pretty well with some of the support stuff. Like with the Witch, it's suddenly a 5/2 lifesteal quick attack, and the 2 healths don't really matter in combat when you're like 5 attack quick attack. So it pairs pretty well there. It does a bunch of decent things. So this is probably going to be a very solid role player, especially for more defensive, more controlling decks that look for some early units to trade up, since the lower health doesn't matter as much if you're blocking, as long as you're trading, because on defense with a 4/2 you can trade up, while on offense you would trade down usually because the opponent would block with like a 2-drop, and here you can block like opposing 4-drops. For example, and trade with them. So yeah, this is pretty solid, yet not too flashy. And last but not least in terms of meme value, but least in terms of quality, I would say, we have the almighty Swole Squirrel. It's a 4-cost 3/4. On strike, you double its power. I think the card's actually quite weak. It's pretty cool. It has great artwork. Super cool. Sort of flavor-wise card, but I think like power level-wise, the card's actually pretty weak and not even a great expedition card probably, and certainly not constructed playable. I think there are way too many better cards. The fact that it also only doubles power is pretty underwhelming. Like even with buffs and stuff, you end up with like an X4 still, and like even if you consider this like virtually a 6/4 for 4, that is very mediocre, and this is much worse than a 6/4 for 4 would be, and a 6/4 for 4 with no abilities would be decent but not great, or like solid. But yeah, I don't think this card has a future in constructed, honestly. This is kind of a dud, but the other 4 cards all seem varying levels of playable to good. And yeah, the distaste of the new Ionia is pretty cool, and that will open up a lot of cool different Ionia decks with some of the old cards and a lot of the new cards, and combined with the new Targon region, but also potentially with stuff like Demacia, like other unit heavier regions. There's a lot of cool stuff to explore. I'm already pretty pumped for the region, and today we got the Lulu spoilers as well with more awesome cards in that direction. So support unit Ionia is looking awesome. So yeah, can't wait. I'll get the Lulu spoiler review to you as soon as possible. And in the meantime, let me know in the comments what you think of the new cards and my review. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Turn on notification icon to not miss out on future content. And for more information, you always have the description down below by clicking show more. That's it again for this time. I'm your host ManuS. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.